It started back with German Village, a guy named Frank Fetch in 1959. He got a little cottage in German Village and started to, start a movement, like it was privately done. Yeah, and he started the Historical Society, German Village Historical Society, within a couple years of that, I'm pretty sure. Columbus area and this generation wanting to be, in a smaller home. I think a lot of people, our last generation, our parents' generation, they wanted to be in big homes and they wanted more land, so they moved out, and that's where the suburbs really hit. But now our generation wants to be next to cool restaurants, have smaller spaces, and that's one of the reasons why, you see a shift into the city.
When I was young, in high school, there were banks, cleaners, grocery stores, a Schottenstein's department store at one time. And so it was Parsons Avenue that was bustling. It was multicultural. We had Croatians, Hungarian, African Americans, Appalachian. So it was a melting pot, and that went from Route 104 all the way up to near Thurman Avenue. So I went to South High School, so it was multicultural. So I was able to interact with everybody from different cultures, and that's how we got to know one another. There may not have been what I call overt segregation, but there was a hint of it in that we knew where we could and could not go.
South was kind of separated. It was kind of black and white, it was the black people stayed with the black people and the white people stayed with the white people back then. And I graduated from high school in '86, so I'm talking '83, '84. It was kind of rough. You did kind of walk through we didn't come through this side of the neighborhood because it was separated, and they would say stuff to you. When I was coming up, this was prejudice. That it was terrible.
100 years ago, as I used to tell my kids, it was all family oriented, and it's beginning to be that way again. It was made of immigrants as well as African American and Appalachians. If you were without a job, somebody might try to help you get one. If you needed food, if you needed clothing, if you needed medical care, there was always somebody to direct you to where you should go. I think it's just a sense of community and family, strong family. We had what the Short North had, but we lost it when the factories closed. This used to be an industrial area. There was Buckeye Steel on Marion Road, there was Brown Steel. And so the people that lived in the area, the men worked in those factories. And so when those factories closed, that was another reason people left.
Everybody on the South Side worked or had a dad, or everybody had a family member that worked at Buckeye Steel. It's generations of families that have been raised through Buckeye Steel. So you just think of the devastation when that place closed down. It was bonkers, because if that's all you've done, there isn't another steel mill. That's all you've done for 20 years, 25 years, and then you're like, so now what? So when Buckeye closed, man, that heroin came over here like crazy. Pills and that heroin. The opiate epidemic blew up over here. And it's like so crazy over here now. To know that something is wrong, you gotta hear it. Because if this is how you lived all your life, you don't think it's wrong. I think the South Side and German Village should come together, because the resources that German Village has are resources that may not be here.
German Village is very small, so it can't expand.
German Village is a specific limit. That's why the other places are coming up around it.
Exactly. It's like it's busting at the seams, so the overflow is the South Side, Old Town East. Then on the other side of Old Town, you have Bexley. Well, that's pushing this way too.
In this immediate area, to have new housing is a great thing. They look similar to the homes that were already here. Gentrification only means that you're bringing the area back to where it was. Some of them may be a little more expensive. And at the time, we never had condos.
7 years ago, when the gas prices went through the roof, that's when everybody started to readjust whether or not they really want to move clear out in the suburbs or further out of the city, because at that time it wasn't an issue. That's why I think a lot of people, there was a push, and not only that, the housing market had already dropped, so therefore it was a perfect scenario for people to fall into that. It's not like, I don't think it was a, hey, let's just push the poor out. That wasn't the case. You got to look at the big overall picture.